subscribers that I met on the water asked me why I never made a video for the beginner kayak fisherman. So after giving it some careful thought, I thought maybe I would do that. I'm sure it'll be boring to the more experienced kayaker, but this video is being made to help out the beginner. I'm making this video based on my own experiences on the water. I don't claim to know more than anybody else or be better than anybody else. I got interested in kayak fishing by watching videos on YouTube, and I have learned quite a bit from fellow kayak fishermen. When you get out on the water, you'll find out that kayakers are some of the friendliest people you ever met. Okay, so let's get started. Let's start with the kayak. There's basically two kinds of kayaks: the sit in and sit on top. This is a sit on top kayak, and I recommend sit on top kayaks for fishing. Now the big question everybody asks: what make and what model? My answer to that is anyone you could afford. Remember, the kayak just gets you out there. It doesn't catch any fish. I recommend before you buy one, go out and borrow one or rent one and go out on the water and see if you feel comfortable. Don't fool yourself and say you're only going to go out on a calm day, because if you fish in Florida, especially in the summertime, there will be times when you get caught in rough water. After that, on a nice hot day, take it out on the water and rock it side to side. Find the tipping point. That's the point of no return. Once you find that and tip, you will probably never tip while you're out there fishing, unless you do something really crazy. Don't spend a lot of money on your first kayak. Wait and see how often you get to go and how much you like it. I started with a $300 kayak from Sports Authority. I used that kayak for a couple of years and plastic welded it many times. I then moved up to a Wilderness Tarpon 120. I used it for a couple of years and still have it. My wife uses it when we go kayaking. I then moved up to the Hobie Outback that I am using now, and my son Tom also uses an Outback. I'll have a video in the future that shows you how to load it on a car top with only one person. That actually makes it fairly simple. It's up to you what you want to rig your kayak with. The one thing I would suggest is a rod holder, if you don't have one already built into the kayak. I suggest you purchase a dry box for your cell phone. Almost everyone I know has lost a cell phone to the sea. I keep my phone in a dry compartment down here. But if I didn't have that compartment, I would definitely have some type of waterproof box to keep it in. Purchase a good PFD. This one I have on right now is a CO2 PFD. It should fall in the water. You just give this a pull and it inflates. And if for some reason it doesn't inflate, you open up this Velcro, pull this tube out, and you could blow air in it and fill it up. Now I know in most of my videos I'm not wearing it, but I'm only fishing in 2-3 feet of water. Now if I go out in the Gulf or deeper water, I do wear it. And when I'm not wearing it, I keep it in the same spot every time. Right behind my seat on the left side. So if I need it in a hurry, I don't have to look for it. I know right where to go for it. Now don't go out and buy real expensive fishing reels, because you are going to eventually dump them. When I first started kayak fishing, I realized that, and I tried going out and buying cheap reels like under $60. But it didn't take long to find out that they only lasted a couple of weeks and it'd freeze up. Taking them apart and cleaning them all the time, that didn't help either. So then I made the mistake of going the opposite way. Spent maybe over $230 on a brand name reel. Within 6 months, the gears were loose, and I took it apart, looked up all the part numbers, sent them an email into the manufacturer. They sent me an email back saying that the parts were out of stock, that they would send me an email when they were available again. Well, about 6 months went by and I never heard from them. So I said to hell with it, and I took it to a tackle shop. Well, they gave me a quote of $120 to repair it. I threw it away. But then I learned the secret. Buy reels in the $90 to $150 range. Since I did that, which was a couple of years ago, they've worked fantastically. They've been dumped, I cleaned them. Never had a problem. As for my fishing rods, I like 7-foot rods, fast action, and take lures from 1/8 ounce to 3/4. Take braided line from 8 to 20 pound test. I like to use 15-pound test braided line with 20-pound test fluorocarbon leader. Now that you have, you know what line and leader to use, I'm going to show you how to tie the line and the leader together. We're going to use this green string to represent the braided line that's on your pole and reel, and this red string is going to represent the leader. You put it end to end, grab it, and you make a loop just like that. Then you put the tag end and the entire leader through and pull it a little bit, then put it through a second time, tag end and leader, pull it a little bit, and third and final time you put it through, and you grab both ends and you pull it. Okay, then you cut the tag ends off, and that knot will not come loose. Okay, next I'm going to show you how to tie the lure onto your leader. My rope holder here is going to represent the eye hook on your fishing lure. You're going to hold it right here, and you're going to go around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Now you're gonna take it and put it through this first loop and back through the second loop. Then you cut off the tag end, and that is a knot that will not come untied. I'm only going to recommend 3 fishing lures to get started. The first one being a Johnson 3/4 ounce gold spoon. Second, a 1/4 inch jig head with some type of gulp on it. And a mirror lure Catch 2000 twitch bait.
This is the Johnson 3/4 ounce gold spoon. Now the only thing different I do is before I even use it, I take off the factory treble hook and I replace it with a better treble hook. This is a size 2 and much sharper and a little bit bigger than the one that comes on it from the factory. This is the type of jig I'm talking about. This is a 1/4 ounce jig head. I like the ones with the skirt on them. But then you take a small gulp. You can try different shapes, different colors, different sizes. And you put it on the jig head. And now you have a scent and a little more action to it. This is the Catch 2000 twitch bait. You might have heard me refer to it as a suspension lure in some of my videos. Because what it does, it stays under the water about 12 inches and therefore it's called a suspension lure. I use this pretty much out of the box until these hooks start to get dull. Then I'll also change the hooks on it. But I do use these hooks until they dull down.
When you learn to fish with those, I'm sure you'll want to try different things like topwater lures. But just to get started, you will catch fish with those lures. You will definitely catch redfish, snook, trout, ladyfish, a lot of other species. You will need a net or fish grips. Now, for the beginner, I definitely recommend a net because you will lose some fish trying to learn to use the fish grips. The problem with the fish grips is everything has to be the right angle, and sometimes trying to get that angle takes a little too long. You will need pliers and line cutters. You could buy the pliers with the line cutters right in them. That's helpful. Keep your tackle box small. You don't need that much tackle out there. Carry this tackle box, assortment of lures, hooks, sinkers, plenty. Most days I never even go into my tackle box. Buy a cooler that fits in your kayak. I carry my kayak when I go out. There's a few drinks, usually a power bar, and I take out these freezer bags that you get from the dollar store. You put your fish in the freezer bag, put it back in your cooler, you're good for a long time. I recommend installing the FWC app on your cell phone. That way when you're out there and you catch a fish, you can check to make sure it's a legal fish, that it's in season, that it's in the slot size, meets the minimum, maximum size that is, so you don't get yourself in trouble. And it'll help you identify the species of fish that you caught. Purchase a tape measure that shows you the different species of fish and what the minimum and maximum sizes are. That'll help out a lot. Some people prefer to go out and anchor and fish with live bait instead of artificial. And I do have videos on YouTube about fishing with live bait that'll be of interest to you if that's what you think you want to do. However, if you decide that you'd like to do that, then you're going to have to get into a anchor, a small anchor, and then maybe even an anchor trolley. Now, you don't need a really big anchor for a kayak. This is basically all you need. Something as small as that. I like to use the bright rope on it and to have a float on the end. And I'll show you what that's for in a minute here. This is an anchor trolley. And what it's used for is when you throw out your anchor, hook onto your rope. You can move it to any position you want. And that'll position your boat in the angle that you want. Now on my anchor rope, I have a float. Why I have that float there is if I hook onto a big fish, I just unhook it, drop it in the water, so the fish doesn't get tangled around the rope. After I land the fish, come back and I'll find the float and get my anchor back. Now I use this hook because I'm always fishing in fairly calm or choppy water. But if I was to fish in a fast-moving river or something, I would not use the clip. I would take the rope, tie it around the handle with a quick release knot, so in case of an emergency, you can get rid of it in a hurry. You can put the anchor trolley on yourself. They're like $30, $40 in most kayak shops. I put this one on myself. You just got to make sure you read the instructions good, because you are drilling holes into your kayak and everybody hates to do that. But if you follow the instructions, it'll be fine. Now that you have all your fishing gear, you want to organize it in your kayak. The key to kayak fishing is to be organized. It's not like being in a boat where you can get up, walk around, trying to find something. I put everything in the same place all the time. I know my pliers are right here. I know my golf baits are here. My tape measure is always under the seat on my left side. My fish grip is always on the left side next to the seat. My life jacket is always behind me to the left. My anchor is behind the seat. And if you do put everything in the same place all the time, it makes it a lot easier. You get a big fish on, you're excited, and you need to find something, it's chaos. Some areas are better at low tide, some areas are better at high tide. But fishing is always better on a moving tide, up or down, as compared to a flat tide. If you're fishing the Tampa Bay area, or some of the other areas that Tom and I travel to, we usually put right on the video where we're fishing. That might help you out in selecting some spots also. I suggest you bookmark tides for fishing on your cell phone or computer. That'll give you a lot of information. That'll give you the tide information, the weather information, the wind, the water temperature, the UV index. Very helpful before you go out to fish or decide where you're going to fish. I hope this video helps those people just starting out in kayak fishing or thinking about kayak fishing. Once you get the basics down, things start to come together very quick. I suggest you watch YouTube videos. A lot of good people out there that are willing to show their tricks and things they've learned over the years. And that kind of wraps it up.